wins the treble, the dream come true for you.
Oh, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Football, bloody hell. But they never give in. And that's the winner.
Welcome to the American Red Devils podcast. I'm John.
I'm Alex.
And we're bringing you the best Manchester United news from this side of the pond.
Woo, sir. How we doing? Sevilla. Back to their old stuff. United blowing a 2-point victory over the Andalusian, I'm going to call them a rival, Europa League rival. Tale of two halves. We've talked about that before. Manchester United cruising in the first half. Should have had more. Sevilla looked awful team. Just honestly, they wouldn't even stay up in the Premier League, and they are 5 points off the drop in La Liga. Nice 2 goals from Sabitzer. United should have had way more in that first half, but we were careless of the ball, gave it away, gave Sevilla chances. Second half, more of the same, even worse. Real talk is Martinez looks like he's done for the season. He might be done for 2023. It looked like he tore his Achilles. It looks a bad one. Varane got injured, subbed at halftime for Magoo. That looks like one to watch. Bruno misses the second tie with a bullshit yellow card, and somehow the troll, Lamela, escapes a red card. Should have been a red. Clear double stamp on Casemiro. But hey, Europa League, what do you expect? United shooting themselves in the foot. 2 own goals. Couldn't have even written this in the dying moments of the game. Brutal stuff. We gotta dust ourselves off, focus on the weekend, because that was ugly.
The footballing gods are cruel. I mean, you just list everything. You can't even get through it all.
I had more.
Bruno yellow, the Lamela red, the 2 own goals, Harry Magoo
injury. Keep going.
You could just get the grievances. The list of grievances from this match are long. The L
is big.
I'm like, haven't even started eating it. It's just like one of those. This is a brutal one.
Worse than the scoreline.
Like, this is horrific. That being said, we talked about it last week. Rashford goes down. Everyone's like freaking out. I said, look, this is ebb and flow through the season. He goes down. Martial's back. Boom, coming out, looking great. Martial looking like his old self. Sabitzer killing it. We could have put him to the sword. I think that's something about this team that we're lacking. It's like we had them. They were absolutely, it was done. First 30 minutes, done. Could have scored 4. They were wide open. We were running at them. Everything we came. And then it's all of a sudden, middle, like I want to say towards the end of the first half, they started getting in it. And I was worried going into halftime because I was like, it was kind of bend-o break there at the end. And we have been known to not, that Ole can't turn it around mid-match, coming out soft. We started soft, and then just like, obviously you put Magoo back there. Holy shit, that's going to create some problems. Like, we're already on the back foot then. And like I said, it was due. Sevilla, they came to our house. They looked scared for 30 minutes. They got their head about themselves, and we couldn't get back. And it's unfortunate because we have the better quality, we have the better team, and the manager, I think, really let us down with some subs too. I think he got it completely wrong. I think as soon as you saw Varane go down, and Sevilla start getting in the game, you needed to lock it up. And Alonga, are you kidding me? So it's just bizarre for the manager. So all around, just a mare for Manchester United.
Yeah, I'm not in the blame the manager camp quite yet. I know there's a thread going on the subs.
Wout and Alonga? Like, are you kidding me?
Well, let's talk about it. Do you want to do it right now? Let's do it right now, baby.
The bad subs.
Martial's made a glass. He had to come off in 16 minutes. That makes total sense. Who else had to come off? Bruno Fernandes on a yellow.
Come off.
Could have gotten sent
off.
off.
Have come off.
You know what? The ref told them, hey, Anthony and Bruno Fernandes are close to getting a red. Calm down your boys. That's why he took him off. Already missing the second leg. Didn't want him to miss.
Fergie didn't listen to refs, you know.
Oh, he didn't?
He's like, oh, I'm going to get a... Well, here's the thing. It was not the best day from the manager. It
wasn't. It wasn't. I think it's numpty world to start blaming the manager for this.
I'm not blaming it. I'm just saying when you have a 2-goal lead and you see the tide change before half,
they were terrible. They were a terrible team. Everything we
were defending for our lives for the end of the first half. It was like
they
were
had no
coming
chances.
At us.
Because we kept giving the ball away.
You must have not watched the end of the first half. The signs were there going in at the half. The ref blew the whistle. It was like, okay, fine. We got in 2-0. I was like, great. And we had to come out and change it. We came out, wet noodle. He should have made a change. And instead, he didn't lock it up and he didn't go for it. It was kind of in between. It didn't make sense to me. You have to pick one or the other. And I think in Europe, you got two. You got to lock it up. I would have definitely gone defensive against Sevilla here. Get the 2, keep it, and then beat them in their house. I think that's the best move, most conservative move. And we didn't. We put on Alonga and Wout. How's that going to help us win the game? And then they hit 2.
Everything they did in the first half was because we gave the ball to them. We gave the ball away so carelessly over and over and over again. We were sloppy with it. We were sloppy on the break. We were sloppy in possession. We were sloppy playing out of the 4. And it was even worse in the second half because we were more exposed. This is a dreadful Sevilla side. They are terrible. They're probably the worst team we played. I'm just making a point. I'm not saying, hey, they got back into the game. They scored 2 fucking own goals. They missed a red card, and we lost arguably our second best player for the return leg for the most bogus yellow you'll ever see. So, hey, we were super neglectful of the ball.
I mean, you look at the stats, it doesn't show that like we absolutely dominated, they got lucky. They were pushing.
They were there to be taken apart in the first half.
I concur, but we didn't get that third goal. And in the second half, they were coming at us. And we couldn't make the adjustment. And all I'm saying is Alonga and Wout probably aren't the players. You probably need to shore it up. That's the difference I would go for. And if you short it up,
you got no McSauce. You usually bring him in. You brought in Eriksson. I thought he would help control the tempo. It didn't really work. It wasn't the manager's best day. He's still learning the rigors of like, hey, playing a game every 3-4 days. And you know what? We didn't take advantage of this game. We should have killed it in the first half. It should have been over, right? They should have had Lamela sent off, and we should have scored 3-4 goals easily in this first half. They were electric at times. They were. Sometimes we were playing really good football, especially that front 3, but we were wasteful in the first half, and we were even more wasteful in the second half. Maybe combine that with some bad breaks, right? We played the last 10 minutes with 10 men. They got 6 minutes of stoppage time. That's fun. And Martinez probably got an injury that no one can expect. Varane, that's less surprising. Not a great day. And then 2 own goals, sir. How did they score 2? Like the other times we've lost Sevilla under Ole and under Mourinho, we were bad. We were bad in both. We were awful. We deserved to lose today.
No, it's not about being bad. Like Sevilla were bad. We were great. And then when it turned, we didn't make the right adjustments. We didn't manage this game. European football is all about managing the game, right? I truly believe that. In Europe, it's just a different beast when you're doing these home and away legs. You're at home, you get the lead, it's time to lock it up. You're away, you get the draw, lock it up, win it at home. It's much more strategic as far as when you're trying to win cups in Europe versus just the give one to get one in the EPL. It's a totally different vibe. And here, I just don't think there was no upside in getting Alonga and Wout on when we needed to be more defensively focused because clearly it mattered and we conceded 2 poor goals. Regardless, they had those chances. And on the stat sheet, we didn't really outplay them by that much at home, which is a concern. And obviously, going into their house, I think we can get it done. But losing Varane and Martinez, this is not only a Europa League thing. This is a EPL thing. If you lose those 2 players, like top 4's on the table.
Oh, yeah.
Top 4's on the table.
No, 100%. This is bad. This is so much worse than the scoreline.
Exactly.
It's so much worse than a normal 2-2. Wasn't managed right. Like if you could play Monday morning quarterback, which we can because we're 2 fucking Muppets sitting in a pod room, you would have brought Fred on, right? And while he ain't gonna score no goals.
Of course, he should bring him on.
If you had a striker, you can't play Martial for 90 minutes. We know that. But like if you had a striker there who could run into the ball,
Bruno's playing.
Wow could have scored 2 goals. Like there were opportunities where he just couldn't get to the ball because of his lack of pace. I'm not gonna bash on Wout. That wasn't why we lost today, and it feels like a loss even though it wasn't. It was just one of those days, sir. One of those days, and now with the injury of Martinez, which looks to be season-ending, it's going to be very challenging in the EPL, especially Varane, play a game, miss a game. Dude, and Martial, right? He's a split second away from getting injured again, and all of a sudden you're playing Wout ball again, which is limited, which we saw in the last 30 minutes. No Bruno in the away tie. They're not good. I mean, if we put together a decent side, they're not good. They are terrible. This team, they're terrible, bro. I'm telling you, the worst team we played all year.
All right, quick PSA. Quick PSA for the podcast. We're changing our name. It's called Whinge Factory.
Yeah, Muppet Factory.
The Whinge Factory podcast. I mean, this is some serious pod therapy. But you want to support Muppets. You want to support the pod therapy. Check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/America Red Devils. No commercial sponsors on the podcast. We want to go the direct fan support route, which we think is the best way to do it in 2023. So you like the pod, You want to support us, help us keep the lights on. Check out our Patreon page. Also, check out our store, AmericaRedDevils.store. Patrons, not your thing. You can grab scarves, shirts, stickers, beanies, pins, hoodies even. We got it all. Check out our store, AmericaRedDevils.store. Also, check out our blog, AmericaRedDevils.com. Great fan-generated blog content. You want to write for the blog, AmericaRedDevils@gmail.com. We're all about getting the fan perspective out there. So please check everything we got going on out. And, sir, you got to tell them about iTunes reviews.
iTunes reviews or 5-star reviews of the American Red Devils podcast, wherever you listen. It's a great way to support the pod. Helps us get found organically. And even better, we're giving away an extra special giveaway, green and gold, Glazer Out scarves for all you got to do is write a 5-star review and send a screenshot to AmericanRedDevils@gmail.com with your mailing address, and I'll personally pick, pack, and ship a free green and gold scarf sent right to the door anywhere in the world. Here's a great review from Ginger Gremlin 84. Shout out, what a name. Let's go, Glory, Glory, Man United. Came across this podcast when looking for some Manchester United therapy on my hour commute. Started listening right before the win at Wembley, suffering through the 7-0 loss at Anfield and recap episode. Now I'm a habitual listener on the East Coast. Keep up the great work, fellas. Thank you, Ginger Gremlin. Sir, play that music.
All right, let's recap it here. A match that looked completely different in the first 30 minutes. Manchester United 2, Sevilla 2, Old Trafford, European night under the lights. Let's get into that lineup. We had Dave saves, world number 1 in net. Malacia left back. Martinez Varane center back pairing. See ya. Wan-Bissaka at right back. He had a game.
He did.
Sabitzer, Bruno. Casemiro midfield with Bruno and Casemiro playing deep. Sabitzer at 10, Sancho, Martial, Antony up top. Love this lineup. Was very confident. What'd you think?
Love the lineup. Love the front three. Love the back four. I thought Malacia wouldn't have an issue. He had probably his first bad game for Manchester United. He was not good today, unfortunately. I thought the midfield was great. I was like, excited to see Casemiro back. I was hoping that Sabitzer would continue to play more advanced and Bruno would drop deep because Bruno's looked so good deep. And that was the case. And we started off at a barn burner, sir. It was 11 that you thought could batter a team that's 5 points off the drop in a soft La Liga.
To your point, the bench is a little thin, but the names for me, Lindelof stands out. Did not come on.
Fred should have come on.
Fred did not come on. Those are two names I think, in retrospect, should have gotten action here. Obviously, you had Palestri, Alonga, Weghorst, Delo there as well, not getting some time. But, sir, Hans and Franz.
Might only hear it a couple more times, sir.
Sir, I wouldn't be so hard if I didn't love this club that much. You know, we just care too much. That's the problem.
Too invested.
Ultimately the problem. It's like I care. It's like the minute I start caring, we just bottle city, sir. This one's just like Sevilla. They're horrible. The rivalry with them, the whole thing,
horrible.
like it just was written in the stars that we would just like own goals, injuries, the whole thing. It's cursed. Sevilla's cursed. It's cursed.
We've never had worse luck in a game.
I mean,
this season, we've never had worse luck in a game.
Kill us in Champions League, play horrible, like Mourinho rant, meltdown, can't beat them no matter what. Even they're horrible. They're dumb, like Valvoline jerseys. You got to be shitting me. Like they're coming to our house.
They're terrible.
It's like, all right, well, let's have fun in the
terrible.
first half
Yeah,
here. Okay, we
ourselves.
start like amazing. Like the team was up for it, ready from the jump. European night. Sancho scores, but he's ruled off sides.
First minute,
I even like 30-something seconds. Antony, 13th minute, great hit inside the box. but an equally good save from the keeper. We were all over them. They were wide open at the back. And in the 15th minute, Sabitzer showing his mojo at number 10.
Has started brilliantly. That was superb. Here's Bruno Fernandes. Sabitzer took it. Sabitzer scores it. Little glance across to see if the flag has gone up this time. And it hasn't.
What a touch. What a finish. Sabitzer
Well
looking
was
real
that?
sharp at number 10 for Manchester
Marcel
United.
Sabitzer.
I mean,
With
you're a
his second
fan.
goal
I
since
kind of said I
the
wanted to
goal
see
back
more.
in
And, like, look, you play him in his right position. He's got a touch. He's got a boot. He's scoring goals.
I've been impressed with the Austrian, especially today. He was great. I think he's looked terrific in a more advanced position, due for some more goals, all things considered. And it was a great finish from him. He looked lethal. I was hoping, after the next bit of news, that he would get his third. And United was just so electric. I thought we could have been better in the first because they were so open and we had these great chances and we were still kind of giving it away, which was a bad omen for how bad it would get in the second. But first was at times very fun to watch.
We had him on the ropes, and it's a great point because when Sabitzer came into United, he was playing in the midfield too. Looked a little shaky with McTominay, and then boom, play him at 10, and you're seeing what he can do. And speaking of what he can do, didn't take him long to score his brace in the 20th minute.
Really revved up by the confidence that his manager's put in him, and he's played Sabitzer in again, and he's scored again.
I mean, here you go.
So insane.
Okay, here you
again.
all I gotta say is that's a finish. That's
Great
a
finish.
great finish. First of all, you gotta compliment Sabitzer, the goal, everything.
Nice pass from Martial.
I don't know if I'm buying the poor man's chops. I think those gotta go.
It's very pirate. It's like he's like
no, but you can keep
Captain
the goatee.
Jack Sabitzer.
You can keep the goatee tight. The poor man's patchy chops gotta go. Like if we sign him, we gotta say. If I was the owner of Manchester United, I'd be like, I'll sign you, but you gotta get rid
Like
of
it's
that.
the Yankees or something. They have a hair,
You can't have,
hair and
like-
facial hair policy.
You either got chops,
I'm looking at Tony with that ball.
no patchy chops.
God,
I have to comment on that.
I wish he could stay fit. Unfortunately, he's just one of those players that they just can't stay fit. There are players like that just will always get injured. He's one of them. But when he is fit and available, I mean, this is as good as we've ever seen Tony Martial. He was so good off the ball. He was holding it up well. He picks out Sabitzer's really well on this goal, and great finish from number 15. So make that deal permanent. He is a valuable player, especially at a deal.
I can't believe you're trying to just ignore the chop conversation I was trying to get.
I don't disagree. I mean, what are
I'm
you
just
going
saying,
to
you
do?
had a buddy who had patchy chops in high school. You'd be like, listen, man, I know you're trying, but they're just not coming off, So, he's a professional footballer.
He's a good-looking lad, too, So, clean it up. Clean it up. Hey, I thought he was going to get Hattie. Almost did.
I'll tell you, Alex can grow some, mean chops.
No, I could patchy. I'm patchy number one. I could not grow a beard. Decent stash.
You got,
but stash is not
leprechaun
very
red
popular.
hair that comes out of your
It's
beard.
not
It's
good
all
look.
right.
No one wants to hear about
All
it.
right, 39th minute, Lamella. At this point in the game, I'm laughing. I'm in a great mood. I am thinking about texting Alex about how well this game is going, but every single fan and Muppet knows you do not text when you're up two because it's the most dangerous league in football.
You wanna know what
and
I was thinking?
if I text it, I actually want to be text you just a gif of someone laughing, enjoying it.
was
I
fun.
just don't even do it because I don't want to curse it because that's how far down the Muppet train that we are.
I was thinking, I was like, all right, finally, I'm going to go ask the wife for permission to go for an extra day in
How
May
dare you.
so we can go to the away game.
What do you
These
make of
two
this
calls?
Fred? What do you
These two terrible calls in a row, I started to worry because the luck, one bad call, but these are awful calls, bro. How is that not a red card? 2-foot stomp.
It was.
on
I don't think. Look, I'm giving you I call balls and strikes here.
You don't think it's a red card?
It's close.
In Europa League?
If the ref calls it, it's again. This is the same stupid thing that we've been through with NFL. If the ref calls it red, it's red. If he doesn't call it red, then it's not. It's one of those things where is that clear and obvious, or was that just a yellow card, tough challenge? And the answer is it was probably 80% red. 85.
It's orange.
And
It's an orange card
the
for
ref
sure, bro.
for the ref to give it on the field, it usually has to be you saw Andy Carroll injure Erickson, and he didn't get a
card.
No,
He
he
didn't get
didn't
anything.
So the whole point is it has to be 110% for the ref to give it.
Sorry, this was studs.
It was high up there, and For me, a straight send off, I think that would have been harsh. I don't think the intent was there. I want to say it was close. It was very, very, very close. So, but then the 41st minute, egregious. I think the Lamela one is like his studs were up. It was like if he actually stomped in any way.
He had 2 feet. He had 2 feet on Casemiro. I understand.
The studs made content, but he didn't like Roy Keane stomp his leg. You know,
you don't see those anymore.
I know.
Sir. You would get suspended for like 10 games.
Okay, in Spain, this is a red.
Yeah, of course it is.
So if this
in
game
the
is
EPL,
played,
this is a red. I mean, Casemiro got a red that wasn't nearly as bad.
You're not allowed to touch the throat.
Sir,
of the face.
I'm talking about the other red. I'm talking about the second
Oh,
red,
yeah.
not the first red.
I agree.
Lamela, when he didn't get this after like, remember Martial got a red card for like the softest little touch of the face you've ever seen, and then the Bruno call. Here's the thing: if you got a red, no one would be like, "Well, that was unlucky." Like, but whatever, sir. Agree to disagree. It doesn't matter. He got a yellow.
No, I'm just trying to be like my gut when I saw the replay was like it'd be generous if we got it. My first reaction was like, oh, there's something in that, but it'd be generous if they gave it.
It was orange.
Yeah, I would say 85% there. And then, so when you talk about games and you talk about moments, and this is where I just don't think Erik ten Hag picked up on it. After this 2 minutes and these 2 calls, Sevilla were in it. For some reason, this changed the momentum. As soon as, I think it was really the Lamela red break, and then after that, Sevilla was like, they were on us. And when De Gea had a great save in the 48th minute, Sevilla got more time and extra time. And then that's kind of when we got the free kick, and I was like, phew, Sevilla were coming on to us. I thought we could concede there. And then looking at the locker room, Ten Hag has to be thinking, if we come out in the second half and don't look sharp, I got to change it. And we got to go defensive. We got to protect the lead. And I just don't think he picked up on it. This moment in the game absolutely changed it for me. This is when we went from like going to beat them 5-0 to then like, oh, wow, Sevilla's here to fight.
Lock it down. Yeah, I think maybe like Bruno and then Casemiro both felt a little shortchanged, especially Bruno knowing that he wouldn't make it for the second leg. De Gea made a great save, but they got an extra minute of stoppage time for like no reason, which I thought was hilarious. But so the manager, we'll get into the second half in a second, but the manager, like 95% of the time he gets it spot on, but sometimes he has gotten it wrong, and that's going to happen. When you're managing a club, the prestige of Manchester
this is
United,
a learning moment.
All these games,
this is a learning.
He learns.
He
the
got
thing is, he
burned
does
here.
learn. He does learn.
Absolutely. Okay, let's just go through it. Second half, United come out. Same thing after going in the half. Worse. Under pressure, we come out sloppy. Obviously, part of that was Magoo came in for Varane, and immediately I'm thinking, like, you put him into the back line. Holy, why not Lindelof? Like, why not Lindelof here?
Because Maguire had more recently played. He talked him up. He's trying to sell him.
It's because of that. He's the captain. It's this whole like you put him on the field. Like, great guy.
I mean, he wasn't the problem, sir.
He was not good. He was
Malacia was worse.
Playing out the back.
Malacia was like 100% worse. Made a bunch of errors, including the one to the first goal. Maguire, he was not that bad. I'm gonna defend. I don't love Magoo, but like he was not the problem.
He doesn't contribute. When I'm putting him on on the back line, he needs more protection. And when you have Bruno and Sabitzer
and
Casemiro, you need Fred Casemiro. That's the adjustment I would make to put Magoo back there. I'd have more defensively focused midfielders, and it played into their hands.
The subs changed everything.
My point is, it played into their hands. It played into our issues playing out the back, etc. So 47th minute, Anthony just wide. Then he hit the bar in the 61st. This one has to go in.
I know.
Inside post. Is coming out at an angle. That's how close it was. He's due, and that goal would have been the difference here. The triple sub. This is the F on the report card here.
Yeah.
Wout, Eriksen, Elanga for Bruno, Martial, and Sancho. Like, Fred has to be coming on here. Wout and Elanga, like, I don't know where you dreamed that up, but that is not what we needed in this game. It was, you could say, okay, fine, put Elanga where Rashford is, get Fred on, try to shore it up a little bit. I just didn't like this sub at all whatsoever. You had to leave Bruno on the field too, because of we're in this. It was a tense situation. I think he kind of felt like there was a little more distance than there was between us and Sevilla at this point in the game. This looks like we're like winning 4-0 get type of subs versus like, hey, this is a close match.
I mean, it should have been 4-0. We were playing them off the park, and we were playing like shit in the second half. And honestly, at times in the first half, like they didn't have that many chances. They scored from 2 own goals. It's not like they were like piling it on.
You keep saying this, but you look at. I'll go to the stats. The
I understand.
stats do not suggest.
We should have
your
had
narrative.
3 times
your narrative
as many shots.
Do not suggest.
I watched the game with my own eyes, sir.
Okay,
Like,
I'll
you can
go
to
here.
the stats again for the second time.
There are 12 shots to 12 shots. 5 on target for United. 3 for Sevilla. That is not us playing them like 30 shots, 15 on target. They had nothing. It's like they had 45% of the ball. They had as many shots as we did. They were in this game. And
Both
that's
of their
that's
shots
the
weren't even on target that they scored with.
They had 3 on. De Gea had to come up with some big saves for us to even tie this game. Actually, he had that great save at the
At
post.
the very end,
I mean, like
when we were playing with 10 men,
it would have been 3-2. Like to say Sevilla.
You're giving
wasn't
them
in
too
the
much
game.
credit, bro. You're giving them way too much credit.
I
This is
just-
all self-inflicted wounds. I think the big error is obviously like
the stat
you
sheet
lose. Okay, big stat guy. Look at the data. We should have had like 15 shots on target. We kept giving the ball away, sir. We were so sloppy in possession, even in the first half when we were running rampant. The big
So do you
error
think
is,
putting Wout, Eriksson, Alonga
it was a mistake
like,
because you lose Bruno.
help
if you
a
lose-
Sevilla attack, or do they help Sevilla scores against us, or hurt? It's clearly they didn't help. Is my point.
We lose Bruno in the side. He's got one of the highest worker rates of any player. And then you sub him for Eriksson, who is a great player, but just isn't as able to
injured.
break up play, is coming back from injury. That was the big error. You lose Bruno, you need someone's work rate like Fred. And now, obviously, with the benefit of hindsight, which is perfect, 2020, Fred would have been. You need his high work rate, and we lost that because Wow wasn't doing nothing.
You had to keep Eric. You basically had to keep Bruno on the pitch. You could have put Bruno out on the wing. You could have put Eriksson in the midfield, right? I think there were more adjustments you could have been made. I just would have put on a ton of midfielders with Fred. I wouldn't have taken off Bruno. I would have basically taken out the attackers and just basically done it that way. I mean, that would have been way better. You could, fine, give Alonga a shout, but
even the 81st minute sub, you're right. It's like you should have done like Fred for Anthony. Lockdown
it's like
shop.
read the room. I thought we were vulnerable. I thought we didn't. We ended the first half poorly. We came out poorly. I thought Sevilla looked like they wanted something, and they got it, sir. I mean, like, we're just going to jump into the Sevilla goals here, 84th minute.
To be controlled by Ocampos. Ball back in for Malacia to let it run, and Navas has got it in via De Gea. Sevilla have their goal back. Jesus Navas playing a huge part in it, but it will go down as an own goal against the Manchester United keeper. And it's Tyrell Malacia's mistake. He switched off. It's coming. I think it's quite telling that it's come because Manchester United have allowed it to. Elanga, first of all, let Navas drift away from him. Then Navas trying to pull it back. First off Malacia, then off De Gea and in. Nothing the keeper could do.
Horrible. Absolutely horrible. 88th minute, Martinez, even probably this is the worst news
by far.
going off with injury. Dave, huge save here from the Sevilla team that is not attacking United.
We're playing with 10 men.
This is true.
Sir,
Big save.
okay, let's talk about that goal that you just kind of skipped over. Malacia makes a meal of it. He was the worst United player on the pitch. Big fan of Malacia. He's a young lad. He was a bargain deal, and he'll get better and better. But he had a first bad game for Manchester United. This shouldn't even happen. The shot wasn't on target. Bad deflection, bad luck.
I mean, they were in a half. They put in a dangerous cross. It was cleared
just kept
partially.
giving
They
the
put in
ball,
another
bro.
cross, come across net. Like, the point is we were back in our end. We were not being able to play out. We were under pressure. They get their goal, obviously own goal. Then they, as a part of that pressure that they were still applying at this stage in the game, man down, absolutely. De Gea, huge save.
That
here.
was a good
Should be
chance.
2-2.
That was
Great
actually
chance.
a good chance. Yeah, and that was a great
chance
save
from
from De Gea.
Sevilla. And then obviously we can get we can get into the tying goal if you would like, sir. Another own goal. When you get one, when it rains, it pours here.
Foss. It's a good-looking delivery, and it's in for 2-2.
Also not on target.
En-Nesyri has done it. What a scrap!
I mean, it was
this
a
has
really
been
dangerous cross.
by
Like,
Sevilla.
again, they have
Look
the
at
same.
his header, bro.
It was a great
It was-
cross.
it
It was a great cross into
that
a
guy's header
dangerous
was going
area,
out of bounds.
and like Magoo's it. You know, it's
He
like
didn't do anything wrong, bro. He's standing there, the ball like ricocheted off his head and went
There's
in.
a great stat in hockey. It's called plus minus, and it basically tells you how many goals are you on the field, how many goals are scored when you're on the field. He comes on the pitch, we get scored on. It's just it's
He's
simple
5
as.
yards away from him. It hits it right off his head and then goes in, sir. It's like
Look
how bad this header is, bro.
No,
Look where it's
horrible.
going. Look where it is going.
They
were
had us
terrible.
under pressure.
Yeah, we were playing with 10 men and bad luck. And
Okay,
then
let's
it
get
rained,
into the real
bro.
issue here. We can talk about the best part about Alex on the pod is he just hates Sevilla, so he just won't take the L. You're like,
it's not
we were
even-
great,
look
they
at
were
the
bad.
I didn't say, okay, bro. I literally said we kept shooting ourselves in the foot, giving them the ball away, even the first half when we were rampant. This guy, I never heard you talk more about stats in my whole life. You want to talk about stats? Look at XG. They had like 0.4, and we had close to 2. So, like, we bottled it, and they got great luck. They got like 4 pieces of tremendous luck. No red card. Bruno missed his second leg. 2 own goals. Yeah, they got terrific luck. We shot ourselves in the foot.
So
we move on.
My view is that they were who we thought they were for the first 40 minutes. Then they showed up a little bit. And you're right. We should have dealt with it. But when you bring Wout and Alonga on, you ain't going to deal with
That was a
it.
mistake.
So it's like
That
a
was
little
a mistake.
You're right. It's like I think United fumbled it 100%. You let a scrappy team like Sevilla's got nothing to play for in anything into the game. They're going to have a go, and we let them have a go at home, and that's why the stats do show that.
Get those stats. This guy.
Look, 12 shots for both teams. That's even. 5 on target for United, 3 for Sevilla. They had 45% of the ball, and they're a bad team in La Liga. They were 13th. But really, the major problem with this game is that for the American Red Devils fans that can hear our voices, if United go to the Europa League semifinal, we are traveling to that first fixture, which will be in either Turin against Juventus or in Portugal versus Sporting Lisbon. And because if United will win, we can go to an extra game and it will be incredible, we know that we will lose.
In Turin.
No, we know United is not going to beat
Of course
Sevilla
not.
because
we're going to one game, bro. We're going to Wolves now.
it's jinx. And
Yeah,
so
it's jinxed.
we are cursed.
I'm going to wait a week to talk about with the
And
wife.
it's
I'm gonna wait a
because
week.
we're planning our trip to go to
Idiots.
the semifinal, and we are playing a horde team in La Liga. That's pretty much why everything will fall apart. Martinez will get injured, and we'll bottle this game in the worst way and jeopardize our trip to go see the lads in the semifinal. That's basically it, sir. It's written in the stars. I just knew it. That's why I didn't text you. We're jinxed. United's going to drop out to Sevilla again. And also, it's written in the stars that for some reason Sevilla just owns us.
They had luck in abundance. I'll tell you what, I'm waiting a week to talk about it with the wife because it's probably not even going to be worth the fight. It's probably not even worth it. I'll tell you what, I'm sure Turin in early May is not that lovely because they have
sure
a
it's
1-goal
phenomenal.
advantage. I'm fucking with you. Yeah, I'm sure it's fucking amazing.
We might go if United's not even in it.
Honestly. Would our wives actually know? Just like, yeah, they're
we're-
playing Juventus.
No, they would have no idea. Like we could be like, yeah, United's playing just because we want to go to Turin.
Actually, that's an idea.
That's like we're playing 40.
I know, but you have to watch that play
But
Sevilla.
I want
Lamella.
it's like we get the 2-goal lead. I'm like, oh my god, it's working out. We're gonna just wrap it up in this game, no problem. Like
Passport came
like-
yesterday. Got my new. I was like, woo, let's go. Passport
and
came
then it's just
quick.
like, and it's gone.
And it's gone. That was fun.
And it's gone. So, and it's like the only Europa League game I've ever really wanted United to win because we have something on it, and they just absolutely bottled it. Some facts here: since he made his Manchester United debut in February 2020, Bruno Fernandes is just one of 2 players in the Big 5 European leagues to register 50 goals and 50 assists across all competitions. The person who has done it ahead of him is Messi, which is not bad company to be involved in, and he is in great form. But before we get into our next match, so we got to break down the EPL table, give everyone an idea. Oh, no, we didn't do the Ten Hag presser. Let's see what he had to say. I'm actually very interested in what... tough.
Never wanted to win a Europa League match more.
Like never cared about Europa League except for this Sevilla matchup, and it's just,
Turin in May.
So written in the stars. All right, here you go, Ten Hag.
Eric, how do you explain how that game ended tonight?
Well, I think we had the game in hand. I think we were 2-0 up. We should have scored a 3 or 4-0 even. I think the game was totally on us. And then some unlucky moments with injuries. We had to make some subs with injuries, like Rafa in half-time. Also, Anthony Martial, we had to sub him because his first game after our first start. Anthony Dos Santos as well, and Bruno, because they were short for second booking. So we had to make some subs. Then we lose control, unlucky moment. I think we switch off, and then another unlucky moment with Licia Martinez, and then we are with 10, and then we conceded. We conceded 2 own goals, and that's, I say, bad luck. We have to deal with it. Of course, we have to learn. We have to kill the game, but still, everything is open for next game.
Why do you think you lost control? The first 30 minutes, like you say, you could and maybe should have scored more goals than you did.
I just explained why we lose when you don't get the third, and then you get some injuries. You lose the rhythm in the game.
Is it just the injuries and the changing of the personnel, you think, that sort of lost that momentum?
Yes, I think so. That the injuries lost, we lose the rhythm of the game. When I say, I think we played first half very good, a lot of belief. We scored 2 great goals with Marcel Sabitzer. I think we could have scored even more. And then after half time, after we had to sub more, then we lose control of the game.
Sorry, sweating a little bit there. Ten Hag, telling the journalist, I told you why we did not close the game out. Love the turtleneck. What do you make of the manager's comments?
I mean, he's not wrong. He calls it straight down the middle, sir. You like to say he called balls and strikes. Maybe I'm more of a full-fledged Muppet. But we got, United, we let control of the game. We got a lot of bad luck. We had, I say, 5 strokes of bad luck in one game. But that's the breaks, man. That's football, and that's just the way it works. So, hey, it's a 2-legged tie. We got everything to play for. We got a lot of big injuries. We're going to have a big omission in Bruno Fernandes because we're going to just see how important of a player he is. But I got a midfield for you. Casemiro, Sabitzer, Eriksson. That should be able to do the job. Defense is going to be hard. Defense is going to be hard because it looks like both of our starters are going to be out. There's no way Martinez is available. And Varane, depending on the severity of it, he did look like he pulled up a little bit in the first half. Everything to play for, though. It's like, this is a terrible team. So we got to go down to Sevilla. They're going to be hostile. This is their tournament, though, to be honest. They've pulled out miracles before. So, hey, Nottingham Forest should be a good tune-up match.
Hey.
But Sevilla away, I give a shit now. I'm fired up. I'm oscillating. No,
it's edge of the seat.
Oscillating live
it's edge
between
of the seat.
Tell the wife, don't tell the wife.
It's
tell
edge
the wife,
of the
don't
seat.
tell the
I mean,
wife.
this is we got a lot on the line here, but let's just get in the table really quick before we break down and preview the Nottingham Forest match. Obviously, the Gunners in first place, 30 plates, 73 points.
Big draw.
Shitty, 29 points, 29 games, 67 points. Newcastle, 29, 56 points. Manchester United, 29, 56 points. Tottenham, 30, 53. These 3 points are huge. Keeping the gap between us and Tottenham is huge. And obviously, top 10 Villa side is going to play Newcastle this weekend.
Sixth place, sir.
Sixth place. Sir, you should have bought Villa stock while you had it. Top 10 Villa playing Newcastle. Big match. So we're hoping for a draw there.
Away, too. It's at Villa.
That would do wonders for United's title challenge. Obviously, you got to take care of your own business. Don't need to be worrying about nobody else right now. It's just really those 2 teams. Tottenham plays the Cherries, Bournemouth. They should be down. So at the end of the day, Tottenham's got an easy one. Newcastle, tougher fixture. And we're playing Nottingham Forest. So come on, let's get into that next match. Nottingham Forest versus Manchester United, City Ground. It's away. We struggled a little bit away, but we got a great kickoff time. Sunday, April 16th, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 11:30 a.m. Eastern. Lifetime versus Nottingham Forest. 51 games won to United. Drawn 24. Lost 33. First time we ever played them, 1892. Nottingham Forest versus Newton Heath. We drew 1-1 in the first division. Last 5, won them all. We even torched them 8-1 in 1999, the last game this season. In our house, we won 2-0. It wasn't as easy of a game as I would have liked. Last 5 coming in for Nottingham Forest. Tottenham beat them. Newcastle beat them. Wolves drew them. Leeds beat them. Villa beat them. So they're just getting beat up by everybody. They're looking to go down. If Newcastle and Tottenham are beating them, sir, I don't tell you what we need to do.
Sir, not confident at the moment given all the injuries. But I think they said the opposite in the play-by-play in the game today. Casemiro, I believe, is back. I just double-checked. It says he's back, even though the guy today said he wasn't back for the weekend. So that's a big one. Bruno's going to be available. Front three be a little dodgy. I think you can start Martial. Hopefully he doesn't pick up an injury between now and then. And you know what? A Forest side, the old school pairing that no one wants to see in Lindelof and Maguire, it should be good enough because they are dire. They're in 18th place. They're fighting for their life, but they are dangerous because they're playing at home. They have everything to play for. And this relegation battle, like nobody's dead yet. It's like there's so many teams that are fighting. There's 8-9 teams that literally can get relegated. Trap game, sir. We gotta call it a trap game.
I'll tell you what, I have nightmares about EPL attackers running at Harry Maguire. I have nightmares about it because he is just
Lindelof,
he doesn't know like where to go. He's like so slow. He's always in space cut out, and it's just like some like not even a good player, just burn him. It's just like he's like
Lingard would smoke
who
him.
like who are we playing? It's like Everton. He like tackled the dude. Like
that was bad.
He was just getting. It's like me if I'm out there, sir. Honestly, like you'd be like just tackling people.
You're putting yourself
like,
on that pitch a
chasing
lot.
ghosts.
You're putting yourself on that pitch a lot,
sir. I'm a Muppet in that
You are a
regard.
Muppet.
I am a Muppet in that regard. A little history on Nottingham Forest. Club founded in 1865. Played their home games at City Ground, and we're going to it on the banks of the River Trent. They've played there since 1898. Forest are one of 5 English clubs to have won the European Cup, or Champions League as it's known in the modern day. 1 of 4 to win it more than once, and 1 of 2 English clubs to have won the competition back-to-back. So put some respect on Forest. Their fiercest rivalry was with Derby County. That was Dark Ale. Wayne Rooney managed them for a little bit there, who contest the East Midlands Derby. A lot of history with Forest, but unfortunately, the EPL is not kind. They might go down here. They're playing the 3-4-2-1. You don't see that too often. They got classic trolls and John Joe Shelby.
That guy. They have Navas. Kayla Navas is which is unbelievable.
Yeah.
How did that happen? Who else they got? They got Gibbs White.
Worrell.
They have Jesse Lingard. I think he might be injured, but sir, we know who they are. I don't want to be. I'll tell you what. Sunday when we do this pod, I don't want to be playing. They are who we thought we were. They are who we thought they were.
Sir, it's going to be a rough finish.
It will be.
And you know why? It's because of this list. Donny van de Beek, the Titan, the Dutch Titan, down.
Dutch Titan.
We've been dying without Donny.
Oh, Donny.
Marcus
Poor Donny.
Rashford, it won't be back. Luke Shaw's got an injury. Scotty McTominay, don't even know. It's a knock. Tom Heaton down. Garnacho can't come back again. Huge injury
Plus
with
Martinez,
the scissor
plus
challenge that
Varane.
wasn't a red card, do you
Unbelievable.
recall?
Unbelievable.
And like we've been really having some challenges against us that are really dangerous and not called red. That is huge. Obviously, Licha is out. Varane most likely out. We're dropping like flies, and the main concern here, and you're right, it's not always the manager's fault. And you would argue that the drop-off on the bench of United is so large that you can't make any mistakes.
Yeah.
And so Ten Hag has to like look at the bench, and there's only 2 or 3 players you should really be bringing on. I mean, Palestri, that's just being kind.
Yeah.
But it was really Fred and Eriksson and maybe Lindelof had enough to play against Sevilla, and then you're going to go play the rest of the season. And now we're going to be down to Magoo and Lindelof are starting. Who's our backup center back? I'm available. That's all I got to say.
You're not available. You are not available.
But
You're
like
not
we're
past
down
beef
to the
test.
nub now, and the guys we're starting are just a liability. So, and if we have
Who's
to
even up
finish the
next?
season, it's like
I don't even know who's next in line. Wout?
I think Twanzebe is technically on the team, right? He's not. I don't think
no,
he's on loan.
he's on loan.
He is.
Isn't he on loan at Stoke?
I thought he got recalled, but that's a great question. Maybe there is nobody. So at the end of the
kid, like one of the academy kids, but isn't Menji on loan and Will Fish is up? I mean, it's going to be dire stuff. Brandon Williams. I mean, like who are you going to play?
we are literally we
Like
got
the low?
right,
Like the
but that's
low
the
in
problem
AWB?
is the drop off is huge.
Well, what happens? Glazers, bro.
Of course.
And they ain't going
We've
nowhere.
been getting by, and then now these injuries are catching up. And Martinez is most likely not going to be playing in preseason if he did the Achilles proper. We have a great friend of the pod, firefighter, did his Achilles. He took him 8 months.
It's an 8-monther. It's like
It's 8 months.
He'll be back for like after the Boxing Day match. He'll be back for like 24, bro. January.
No,
24.
that's what
It is
like
almost a whole year.
And so you and me whinging about Sevilla has nothing on like our best defender, arguably, who's changed our back line,
He's our best
changed our
defender.
team, is probably gone for 8 months. Like that into next season.
It's so much worse than the 2-2. If we had a fit Rashford, if we had Bruno available, if Martinez and Varane didn't go down, the Varane one, that's less surprising. The Martinez one looks truly bad. I'd be like, fuck it. It wasn't our day. They got 2 own goals. We let it go. Bad subs. We're gonna go down and
we got
batter
Luke
'em.
Shaw. There you go. If Luke Shaw can make it back from injury,
That means
then
a
we
lot,
have
though. He
some
can play
cover.
center back.
Luke Shaw,
But he's
Magoo
injured
didn't look
too.
horrible.
Oof,
I know he's injured now, but like if the thigh injury isn't like out for the season, so he's gonna come back. We need him at center back.
We do.
Running the show, and Malacia looks good with him. So, given that is the injury list, what is your starting 11 here?
Whew, I'll tell you what. Don't ask me to pick the bench. Do De Gea net AWB again because he was probably the best defender in that back four today. I thought he was really good. It's going to be Lindelof, Maguire, Malacia, Casemiro, Eriksen, Bruno because they're all available, I believe. Sancho, Martial, and Anthony. Same front three, and I think basically the same midfield as today. I guess Sabitzer played, so I would switch out Sabitzer for Eriksen because we're going to need both of them next week down in Andalusia.
I'm going to say a little different, but same. De Gea, AWB,
Say
Maguire, Lindelof.
it. Say it.
I'm going to say Shaw makes it back. Casemiro, Sabitzer, Bruno, and then you're going to have Sancho, Tony Martial, and Anthony. And that should do it. That should do it against both Nottingham Forest and Sevilla away. The one thing that doesn't give me confidence is the center backs. It's like, and I felt confident when Rashford went down. I felt confident. I'm like, somebody's going to step up. I mean, we have Tony's looking sharp coming back. Anthony's due. Sancho's not looking bad. Like, we have options there. And if you're short up at the back, you got De Gea who can stop a shot. Varane and Licha, like, you just got to get by a few games. We'll be fine. But you lose the back line. You see we can't build up. The midfield can't get midfield start coming deep.
But we got
We're
Casemiro
not
back.
getting.
We got
I'm just
Casemiro back
saying
will help. That's a huge help.
It will help, but it is a lot. And that's where I feel like teams know we're weak and they come at us. Given those are the give us the odds.
It's a good point, sir. Forest big underdogs plus 420. The draw plus 300 and United the favorites at minus 155. Sir, given the odds, what is your
Sir, was that almost another burp on the pod, or was it you
I held
swallowed
it back.
it?
I held it back. This
So you got GI issues.
I got issues, sir. I got issues.
I've never
I'm
seen
due for a
more
burp.
air come out of
This
his
guy's
human being.
replaying the burp. This is a hell of a pod. I'm due a burp every
like, well,
every 450 podcasts. I get one burp. Okay.
No, but like,
it was like I literally
you
think it
can
was
tell
450.
you're swalling the burps on the pod too,
holding
because
it.
you're like,
I'll swallow the L's, bro.
While you're
We're
talking,
still
they're
talking
going.
about it. I'll tell you what. Next time you have a gas event with your gastrointestinal
No, I'm just saying, like,
system, let me know.
So you're like,
I'll
what are they, like,
I'll tell you. I'm gonna talk about it. I ain't gonna let you take that L, bro.
you're like, oh. You're like
Score
old-
predictions.
Sir, you're like Old Faithful. You got like burps coming every like
I'll tell
5
you what.
years.
I
Like,
could. I
swallow
got.
it.
If you
While you're
wanted a
talk-
burp, I could give you a burp.
While you're talking, you're like,
Gas.
score prediction. I'm gonna say 2-0. What do you say, sir?
Yeah, 2-1. Nervy. No clean sheet. Ugh. And then down to southern Spain. Let's go.
All right, let's get into the news. Sorry, having way too much fun in the pod. All right, everyone heard the news. Breaking. Interested parties. We got a third round of bidding. Bidders are given until the end of April to submit the revised offers. This is coming from the source. This is legit. There was one bidder who started like cried foul to
That guy.
Sky Sports and was just like, "You can't have a third round."
That guy is a nobody.
I know.
He's
I don't
like
even
the
know.
biggest
He just
dope of all
people
time.
just jump on the cloud train. They're just trying to get quotes and have people recognize him. And that guy, never heard of him before, and now people are talking about
We
him.
don't
So
even
that's why
talk
you
about
jump.
him. He's never made the news. I just want to stand behind him. We do 2 pods a week. He never made the news, and he never will.
Well, it was in the process, so he's got some.
You and me were in the process.
And we were not.
We could have been.
We could have been, yes. So the way this works is everyone's kind of kicking up dust about this. It is not uncommon for M&A processes to have multiple rounds of bidding. You could have a fourth round. And especially if there is not a lead horse, especially if there is not a buyer who's coming to pay the valuation, like it's clearly been communicated what the Glazers are looking for. There's distance between the parties, and they're having them go again. And they're going to go back and consider it. So they're going to do more diligence. They're going to do more number crunching, get more confidence, and be able to present another number on a piece of paper to have the Glazers say yay or nay. And right now, whatever they've received on paper isn't good enough. And the Glazers are probably giving guidance. What you do in every round, you'd be like, here, we're looking for something here. And go back to the drawing board. People will do that. They'll come back. What we said in the beginning, when everyone was dancing in the streets that Qatar was going to buy Manchester United, and Qatar, including journalists, were like, it's done, it's done. This is going to be a long, drawn-out, horrible, annoying process that will not be efficient or fast. It will not help United. The Glazers do not care about our summer transfer strategy. They do not care about anything other than getting paid the most amount of money. They are selling a multi-billion-dollar asset. They are not going to really be concerned about the feelings of the fans, whether the bid has debt or whether there's summer coming up or whether next season could be affected. They do not care. They are trying to get the top price for Manchester United. And at the end of the day, this is just ruthless business. And if I was on the other side, or if I was in my former job and I was advising a client in this regard, you wouldn't care for the underlying fans of the asset. You would be trying to get the best price. And that's what they're doing. You can't hate them for it, because that's what, for me, it's like, you guys don't want to pay $6 billion for Manchester United. Like, they're going to sell the Washington Commanders or whatever the team is called. How much did it go for?
I thought it was 6.5.
Yeah, they're going to sell it for $6.5 billion. That's a horrible NFL team.
Yeah, but
it's
NFL,
like, this is Manchester United.
It's money, bro.
No, but I get it. But you want to own that things are going to change in the EPL. EPL will come to this value. The whole point is, if you want it, go buy it. Qatar talks a big game, go pay for it. Jim Ratcliffe wants it, get the debt, get the money, pay for it. At the end of the day, if you want something, you got to be able to pay up. You want to buy a car, you think the guy on the other side of the deal cares about your feelings? No, he wants the best price. It's ruthless. It's just the way this is going to go. It's unfortunate for fans. It's unfortunate for United, because it's going to affect this club. It's going to affect this summer. It's going to screw us. It's going to screw Ten Hag. And it's going to take, probably longer than anyone wants. And we've also advised that on the pod. We said everyone's going to say it's going to be done, and it's not.
Also, 100%, sir. It's also like people acting surprised, like the Glazers are not going to squeeze every dollar of this club and actually give a shit about what they've never given a shit about this club. They've never given a shit about the history. They've never given any respect, thoughtfulness in their approach. They let the stadium rot, and so much so that it got picked over for the Euros in 28. Right, it wasn't even considered, and they are ruthless capitalistas, sir. All they care about is money. They see this club as just an asset, and you know what? This is par for the course. So they're going to try and squeeze every dollar out. The real question is, does it end up trading at the end of the day if someone can't get to $6 billion? Are they willing to grit their teeth and say,
no,
we'll take 5? I don't think so either. I'm just
they
saying,
have all the leverage.
Of course they do.
And that's the whole point at the end of the day.
They are old, though. They are old.
We can make up whatever we want. But I'll tell you what, this club, you got to take it from their cold, dead hands, sir. That's just the way they are going to operate, and they're going to get every single dollar for this club. And that's unfortunately, that's what you would do if you owned a company. It's exactly how anyone would operate. This company comes with, it's a different thing. It's an intersection of passion and fandom and all this stuff. But at the end of the day, it's a multi-billion-dollar corporation they are selling. They're going to try to get the best price.
And they're the Glazers.
And if they want to sit on it for 5 years and sell
expect?
it for this price, it is not a great economic environment. It might not be the right time to sell, unfortunately for us. I said they should have sold it a year ago when everything was going crazy, and they didn't. I really think that they missed the timing on this one.
Should have done it right after Chelsea. Right after the Chelsea sell, they should have just been momentum, let's go sell it.
Yes, exactly.
That would have been the move.
And they sat on it, and they hemmed and hawed. And look, they're not I don't think the Glazers are smart. I'm just telling you that I think they're going to demand
Not dumb.
every single dollar. And for anyone who is surprised by that or complains about that, I just think you're going to have a bad time because it's just going to be this knock them out, drag them out, and they'll probably stay. Like, just like for me, really want to go to Turin. United are going to lose guaranteed.
Yeah.
And then if
Are we
they
still
don't,
going? Are we still going?
no, but I'm saying my expectation is they will blow it in Sevilla and we won't go, right? And so with the Glazers, they're not going to go. So that way, when they don't, I'm not let down.
There you go. I'm also thinking, just based on the tea leaves, based on like how much this is dragged out and what we've heard about the delta and the valuation, dude, it's going to impact the summer. They're going to be hanging around the hoop, bro. I just have every feeling that like they know they don't have to wait 5 years. They can probably wait 3 years, and they will almost guarantee get more than $6 billion, like without a doubt. You'll be in a better position under this manager, even with a modest amount of spending. And the macro environment will get better, right? Recessions, they start.
They
and
do
end.
need capital. They need to do a deal to get money in, and that will dilute them.
No,
but you
they
are
just value
correct.
the club at $4.5–5 billion. They can raise money at that. They can sell 5–10% of the club, pay off some debt, pay off the credit facility, the revolver, and spend some money. So they're just trying to appease fans to keep them off their back until they sell the club at a later date. Because the only thing that gives me any kind of hope at this point, because I do think they're going to hold on to it, is that they are old. They're fucking old.
I think they like owning it.
I know, of course they do, because it gives them relevancy.
I think it's
no
a
one would know
sibling.
what the
I think
Glazers-
it's a fight amongst the siblings. Most of them
probably.
who are not involved, like Darcy, I forget the other one who's more involved in the Bucks. Malcolm and Joel want to keep United, and then the other siblings don't. And I think there's kind of a fight about it. So we shall see. Next bit of news here on the injury front: Rashford out for a few games. I mean, great news.
Yeah.
I mean, we're whinging the whole pod. We're fired up about Sevilla. They got us.
You said final. You said the second to last game of the season, which was Europa League final, I believe. If I'm not,
No, I'm taking the L on this one. I thought
it looked bad.
Clearly I'm not a doctor. It looked like it was. It looked like it was like.
It did look bad.
It did look like kind of. You do your groin like that. That's 8 weeks.
Martinez looks worse.
Then get back to fitness. Martinez is. I think if he did his Achilles in the way we think we did, it's like he's out for a long time.
Which means we need a center back ASAP this summer. Like
we're not getting that.
I know.
Unfortunately,
we need a striker.
And the Glazers, it all comes down to the Glazers. Why do we have a weak bench? The Glazers. Why don't we do more activity? Like, why didn't we sell Maguire? Why didn't we move on? Why were we just linked to Frankie all year and then
Why
just
do we have Wout?
Why did we overpay for Anthony? Why do we do all this? It's just because of this horrible ownership. It all comes back to that. And Erik ten Hag, amazing manager, has to be said. I did criticize him today. Everyone can have a bad day, but I think this was a learning moment.
Totally.
I think if he's in Europe again and this thing happens in the Champions League, he's going to lock it up. I just think managers learn on the job, and I think he's learned in a lot of different situations, and he called it right. But he's fighting with one hand behind his back with what the Glazers are giving him, and that's like the whole deal. It's the whole nutshell is that we barely got a starting 11. When we do, we're great, and when we start getting injured, it's just like fighting around the world against all these trolls, sir. All right, jumping into the fan questions at Austin FFL. A lot of bad luck and some madness in the last 15 minutes. I understand Ten Hag trying to get some rotation after going up 2, but the injury came to bite us. Happy to see we're able to score goals without Rashford, though. On to the next one. What do you say?
Well, I mean, well said, right? Bit of madness, subs bit us in the ass, and more than a bit of bad luck. We had a lot of bad luck.
At Daniel D298-12166, quote, very frustrating second half to watch. I have to wonder about the subs. Not to say they aren't good players. He just seemed to sub the whole attacking group for a group that hasn't played together all year. It was a weird, 3-sub 60th, early 60s.
Not very Ten Hag-esque.
No.
It doesn't feel like a Ten Hag sub.
No, it did not. And Wout and Alanga, pick one.
Pick
one of those guys.
You need Fred, right? Because Bruno, you
How
don't
do you
realize
not have
he's
Fred?
so good going forward, but he does so much work defensively.
I think you probably concede one. Even if you bring on Fred, we probably concede one. It's just that doing that, you saw Wout up there running around. It was.
But Sancho can't play more than 60 minutes. Martial needed to come. He can't.
No,
Definitely can't play more than 60 minutes.
You can put my whole thing is you put Alanga on or Wout. You can't put both.
Yeah, that's
that was
probably
that was kind of when I was like, At Moneyline Jesus, we don't have the depth to be playing this many games. United should have easily had a third at some point and been able to shut it down. The subs were terrible, and Magoo looked lost. I think Magoo just, like you said, I'm having trouble seeing the good. I just think we look more nervy playing it out. In space, he's always all over the place. At set pieces, I think on the set pieces, I could say he helps. But just generally, I don't think he gives us confidence back there. I think he kind of makes everyone a little nervy. Do you disagree?
I don't disagree. I just don't I'm not singling him out as kind of like the reason we conceded 2 goals. But I definitely think
his big head the ball did bounce off of his big head into the net.
The guy was 4 yards away.
I understand, but you said I'm not going to fault him. But he literally put it in the net.
But that was just bad luck. Sorry, it was going out of bounds.
He has a large head.
That was such a bad header from
smaller
that guy.
head, ball doesn't go
in. The guy
in.
celebrated like he
Smaller
scored
head,
a world.
smaller head.
I want to beat him up so badly.
Normal
Forget
head
us going to the
doesn't
game.
go in the net.
I don't like Sevilla. I hate
No,
Lamella.
it's because he has an enormous head and the ball comes off his head faster.
I don't like Navas. I don't like Sevilla. They've done us dirty so many times, but today was one of those days where it got really bad.
At Olsen Dylan, why can't we have nice things? I became a United fan in 2015. I
feel
Dylan,
for you,
I feel bad. Go watch some documentaries on how amazing it was.
It was awesome.
I was like, oh, another league?
Stack them.
I really want the Champions League because leagues, you just win them so often.
20 was nice.
We just win so many EPL titles that I'm just not as bothered where I just really want the Champions League.
Yeah, that was like a decade ago. When was the last time you talked like that? Keep going.
While ago. Just like, these EPL titles. I didn't even care. We won the EFL Cup. The house came off. The roof came off the house. It's like, we won the EFL Cup before. It's like, why do they even have this?
Bro. We're starving.
Why do they even have this cup? It's like, there's no point to
laugh
it. We just
about
win it all
Remember
the time.
We used to laugh about it,
and
City started winning them all the time. We were like, ha, 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 ha.
So it was more, how many are we going to win? That was every year, how many? Not are we going to win? At you, Bosun, potentially season-ending game without Shaw, Rashi, Varane, and Martinez. I would not bet on us to make top 4 or beat Sevilla in their house. Pray this season doesn't fizzle out like an Ole FC, like Ole FC would have. I actually.
That's not a bad call.
I mean, this Ulrich pulling no punches with this one, and I would say that from a fan perspective, when it comes to looking at top 4, sir, that the number one thing, when we were listening to the Europa League theme, I was sad not because this is going to be the last time we're going to listen to it in a while. It's because we'll most likely listen to it next season. That's what it feels like.
Yeah,
when you and me just listen to it, it made me think we are playing Thursday Night Football next year because of these injuries. And to Ulrich's point, Nottingham Forest, Chelsea,
postponed.
Tottenham.
No,
I mean, obviously, we have to play them before the end of the season. We don't know when it's going to be.
We have Brighton semifinal. FA Cup.
I'm just going league. I'm going top 4. Top 4.
Go league.
Nottingham Forest, Chelsea, Tottenham, top 10 Villa.
Top 6 Villa, bro.
Brighton, West Ham, Wolves, Bournemouth, Fulham. Not too hard of a list, but you got Tottenham, you got Villa, you got Brighton.
Here are the big ones. Does Rashi come back and stay back? Does Martial stay? If he can stay fit for the rest of the season, if Rashford is back within a week, he said there's a chance he'll make it for Sevilla. That is what Ten Hag said, according to the Muppets. If Shaw can get back and Martinez is gone, if Varane can get back soonish, we could hold the. I think Europa League might be a done conclusion because we might be able to bottle it next week. I'm still.
It's that Tottenham game. It really comes down to that.
It's going to be hard. I mean, it's a home.
No, the Tottenham game is going to be that's if we lose that. Say we draw Nottingham Forest and then Tottenham nip us.
2 weeks, bro.
Oh,
2 weeks.
We could.
We need Varane back. We need Shaw back.
The problem is I agree, but we're playing it on the 27th of April. Tottenham. That game is that's Thursday. It. Really, just that's setting the tone. You beat Tottenham there.
You're good.
You're good. You beat Forest, and then you beat Tottenham. You're looking at, say Tottenham wins. We got the game in hand. We win the game in hand. Call that Forest. We got a 6-point lead. And I think you're good. You lose to them.
It's going to go to the last game.
You lose to them, and it will be
it's going to go to the last game of the season.
The problem is losing to them will create the last day of the season, game after game, dying on the line.
I know.
Out to Sevilla. All of a sudden, Tottenham start chipping up, and then we're like in a battle to the death to not hear the Hans and Franz music next year. And I could see that happening, unfortunately.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's only because of the injuries. It's because
so
of
many
these
games.
injuries.
So we've had
It's 'cause of
so
these
many
injuries.
games, and we've had bad breaks, right? We had 3 games in 6 days instead of 3 games in 8 days. We'll talk about that. And then injuries. Martinez does his fucking Achilles. That was a bad day at the office, sir. Wrap this bad boy up. It was a bad day. 5 pieces of bad luck in one. That's a handful, sir.
We apologize to the American Red Devil fans for planning this trip, because this literally is
We
just
didn't
going
even
to cause.
plan it yet. I didn't even book anything. I haven't even told my wife yet.
It's because we want something to happen. Therefore, the footballing gods are just
That happened to us
destroying
before, didn't it? I think
Yes,
that happened
of
a couple
course,
years
yes.
ago too.
It always happens, sir.
I think it happened like Spurs. Trying to the Spurs game, and then COVID
And then
happened.
COVID had, it's been a rough go, but you know what, sir? At least it doesn't affect us that much. It's not like
Yeah,
it's
right.
actually like it's in our bones. This team, this club, absolutely love it. Look, if you like the podcast, you like the Muppet Take, please support us on Patreon, patreon.com/America Red Devils, AmericaRedDevils.store. Pick up some merch, support the pod. Also, AmericaRedDevils.com. Great blog content, sir. Give them the last top 10 cities last 7 days.
Number 1, how you doing? London, England. Number 2, Chicago, Illinois. Los Angeles, California. New York. Phoenix, Arizona. Houston, Texas. Dallas, Texas. Melbourne, Australia. Orlando, Florida. And last but not least, Charlotte, North Carolina. Appreciate all the American Devils listening week in, week out. We couldn't do it without you. Always darkest for the dawn. We ain't done yet. Come on, Eric Ten Hag, you
It's not very
bald
convincing.
genius. Yeah, I'm trying to convince myself, too.
I can hear it. I can hear it.
Pain in this voice. Pain in my voice.
Sir, let's on to Forest. I see the Stretford horizon.